Okay, so in the last video, I talked about my desire to grow a company and start a company and grow it. This video is going to be more tactically. I get on my computer. How do I actually physically find the websites and start a company, right? Because all the high-level people, Alex Hormozzi's, Ryan Daniel Moran's, they talk about what you do when your company is started, and I feel like I see this in the comments a lot, where people just don't physically know where to go to start a business. So hopefully this answers some questions. I did this very recently and it worked out pretty well so far. So here's what we're gonna do. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen here. You hear all these people talking about what to do when you have a business, but I don't have a business. What do I do, right? What do I physically do with my hands to get from zero to an actual business entity, right? You know, because everyone talks about business entities and taxes and merging this company. Like it's all just convoluted mess for people who are in my boat, and I bet you a lot of your boats. So here's kind of the process that I took to form my business, and then the next steps afterwards. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go to LegalZoom.com. This is where you're going to really create your business, right? So you don't want to attach yourself to any sort of liability, right? I'm not creating the Mick company. I want to create the Mick's Got No Nuts company. You're not creating the Jeff Bezos company. You're creating Amazon, right? This is the first place you do it, right? This is LegalZoom. This is where you start your business. Create the actual LLC or whatever type of business you want to start. Do an LLC, in my opinion, and limited liability corporation. Start my business here. You could do all these fancy schmancy pro premium packages, but frankly, just to get started, to physically get started with your hands, take your right hand, go to your cursor, or if you're left-handed, go to your left hand and move your cursor to form my LLC, right? You're going to go through this process. You're going to enter your business name, your contact information, and then everything associated with your business. Now, more than likely, you are going to be alone in this business, right? It's usually not going to be a partnership or any sort of external partnership with another company or person. It's literally probably just going to be you, right? So anything that it asks you, right? Agent, owner of the company, it's going to be you. If it asks for a business address, it's going to be your home address. My business is under my business address. I live in an apartment. It is my business address. You understand? Okay, so once you go through the application process for an LLC, I live in Texas, so it's going to ask you some obviously geographical question because I live in Texas, right? Texas has about a $300 to $400 application fee for an LLC. That is just standard. That's what you're going to have to pay, right? Hopefully you save enough money to do that. That is, yeah, no way around it. Other states might have different requirements. I don't know the other requirements. For Texas, it's about $300 to $400, right? The basic LLC is going to be $0 if you go through LegalZoom. That's what I recommend if you're just starting out, you have no business experience like me. Okay. The state filing fee is what I talked about. Texas is going to charge you $300, $301 actually, it looks like, just to create the LLC, right? So now once you've done that, Texas has records of your company. Okay. Then part of that LegalZoom process, you're also recommended to create an operating agreement under your company. Hey, this is Editing Mick. LegalZoom will give you a template operating agreement. You don't have to write anything in it besides maybe your business name. They will literally say, here is a blanket operating agreement. Do you want it? And you say, yes, give me it. I will pay for it. Don't have to worry about anything, the details. It will give you the blanket operating agreement. Okay. Between you and me, I don't really know what's in it. That's not super important. It's just kind of like the backbone structure of your company, right? That's something that I believe that will be addressed down the line. But for right now, you just need something physical, an operating agreement, to get your business started. So you're gonna have the basic LLC, which is $0. The state filing fee, which depends on the state. I'm in Texas, that's $300, and then you're gonna need an operating agreement from LegalZoom they will provide you through that application process, which is about $100. So you're going to need around probably at least $400, depending on the state filing fee, to really start and create your LLC. Okay, so next we're going to look up how to apply for an EIN. Remember, we just got the LLC with LegalZoom. That was about $400. That is just kind of creating the business entity. But now what we need to do is we need to assign a tax identification number or an employer identification number to your business, okay? So we're going to go to Google. We're going to say apply for EIN. We're going to go to the IRS's website. Down here, get an employer identification number. And all you're going to do is apply for an EIN, begin application, and you're going to answer the questions that you literally just did you just filled out with LegalZoom. You're just going to do it now in the IRS's website. This is free. You actually don't have to pay anything here. Limited liability corporation. It's going to ask you how many members, what's your name, what's your residential address, or what's your business address, excuse me, what's your social. And then at the end, it's going to spit out or email you with an employer identification number. Okay, so now we have the LLC, we have the EIN, great. The legal stuff is pretty much done for now, right? Now we're going to need a business email and we're going to need a business website. My personal opinion, I had a bad experience with GoDaddy. I initially started with GoDaddy. I would not recommend it. It was just a hassle. The customer service was poor. Its service is poor. So I would actually go through Wix. Now, for the email, you could honestly just do Gmail. That's not super hard. You can make it a business email. You could just do your mick@mixcompany.com. Mine personally is mick@micksgotnonuts.com. I wouldn't recommend using a @gmail.com, @outlook.com. It just feels messy and unprofessional. So I would actually create your own domain, and you can do that either through Gmail. I did mine initially through GoDaddy. I didn't like it, so I would either do it through Gmail or I would do it through Wix. Let's hope you should have your email by now. The email is not the hardest thing in the world. You might have to pay a little bit of an annual fee for a domain. My domain, remember, is micksgotnonuts.com. I would either do that through Gmail or through Wix. Okay, so now to create a website, I personally would go through Wix. Again, I did GoDaddy initially, was not a fan of it. It was very limiting. I moved over to Wix and I was very happy. So you have your LLC, you have your EIN, you should have your email now and your domain. Okay, so now we're going to create a website with Wix. You're going to sign up with your login, right? Or you can use your Google. If you did Google with your email, you could do. I have Microsoft personally for my email, so I had to do kind of the manual setup. But once you get set up, Wix is definitely where I would create your website, right? If you're curious, this is the website that I created with Wix. I was very happy with it. micksgotnonuts.com. Okay, remember, I'm making a nut-free protein bar. I have no recipe. I have no distribution, manufacturing, whatever, but it's just an idea that I want to start. Okay, so on Wix, and I might do another video on website creation. I'm not sure, but this is kind of more for like, what do you do with your hands if you want to start a business? Like, what physical website do you go to? This is just my landing page. I'll go through more in depth what my intentions were with the landing page in a different video, but this is my landing page. So just to recap, we have a few things that we went through today just to literally go from ground zero to just the next step, right? We have no customers, we have no product, we just have an idea and we want to cement the idea. So we made an LLC through LegalZoom. Then we went to the IRS's website to create an EIN. Then we went to, thanks for the thumbs up. Then we went to either Gmail or Wix or GoDaddy, some sort of email provider that you can create your own domain, right? It would be, the domain is @micksgotnonuts.com, @amazon.com, right? Those are the domains, right? We need to make that email domain. And then the last portion, we need to create a website. And I do that through Wix. We have LegalZoom, IRS's website, Gmail potentially, and then Wix. So I wish it was more straightforward, but that's the name of the game. Took me about too long to figure it out, but hopefully this video was informative. If you have any questions, shoot them in the comments. I'll be making more as my process of the journey, but I thought this would be helpful since this is what I just went through, and I don't feel like anyone really explains it super well that I've seen online. So there you go. Enjoy. Thanks.